All right, it is our favorite time of the week again. Time for hashtag Rising Qs when we get to answer your questions. Saagar, what is up first?
Number 1, do you think that Reddit manipulation of stock will result in Wall Street rich enacting regulations to stop from happening again? Shouldn't they just get rid of short selling altogether? Now, that's a great question, Anne, but that would require actually targeting the profits of the billionaire elite. So no, I do not think all regulation will happen on everyone. Do I think regulation will happen to regular Redditors and people? Yes, effectively it's already happened. Robinhood has restricted all trades on many of the stocks that were featured on the subreddit now, and many other trading platforms have done the very same thing. So effectively, they don't even need the government. They can use their powerful oligarchy in order to enforce the policies that they want. Meanwhile, they can still trade on Bloomberg. They can still call their brokers on the phone.
Yeah, that's really true. They don't even have to get regulation passed.
They don't need
or
regulation.
Approved. They have all of the levers of power in their hands. So, yeah, are they going to figure out how to make sure that this can't happen again? 100%.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So next up we have, with distrust in institutions so high, how should government, media, and public health officials approach trying to maximize the number of people willing to get vaccinated? I fear that if they undersell the side effects people experience, we will have a repeat of the mask backlash. That's really interesting. I mean, the problem with the mask situation is that from the beginning, it got politicized.
Yeah.
From the jump, Fauci is actually partly complicit in that they put out this inaccurate information from the start, and then Trump and all the people on the right fed into that and made it this weird culture war issue. Look, you have a group of people in this country that is unfortunately a fairly sizable group that has bought into this vaxxer crap, and I think that's going to be very, very hard to combat. But what is a little bit different from the face mask problem is that we haven't seen vaccines become directly politicized yet. So I think as long as we keep from getting vaccinated from becoming some sort of weird political issue, then I think you're generally going to have pretty widespread adoption.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And look, I actually blame Trump 100% for the mask thing in particular, for just refusing to wear one and not making people in the White House wear one either. If he'd done it months earlier, it could have been a national patriotism thing, and you could kind of push those types of discussions to the fringes. He elevated it to the mainstream. And I think, that was largely, I think, is 100% blame falls on him.
Yeah, with massive consequences. Yeah. All right, last up.
Okay, could progressive change Manchin's mind on the filibuster if they waged a more aggressive campaign in West Virginia, maybe centered on voices of constituents hurting? What do you think, Krystal? It's possible.
I want to say yes, but I just don't quite believe it. And here's the reason why. We had on this show Corbin Trent, who went after Manchin with ads in West Virginia the minute that he backed off of the $2,000. And that really did change things very quickly. He shifted his position. Filibuster I think it's hard to connect it directly to people's lives.
Right.
So you'd have to do it in a way, and this could be done, and maybe this is where, the more hopeful take comes in. If there's a really clear issue that the filibuster, and that's very popular, that the filibuster is clearly blocking, and you tie it really squarely to that issue, something like the $2,000 checks or healthcare or whatever it is, $15 minimum wage, then maybe you'd have a shot at it. But I think it's a little bit of a bank shot versus the direct appeal of this guy is keeping you from getting a check.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. And look, it depends, right? But as you say, look, the culture war is a very powerful thing, and conservative groups might jump in and be like the filibuster on abortion, and then that entire thing becomes a moot conversation, which is always the problem.
And here's the thing. The real reason why Manchin and Sinema and a few others as well don't want to get rid of the filibuster is because it puts them in a tough position.
Then they have to vote. Yeah.
They have to vote, and they have to be the deciding vote. And they don't actually want the accountability that entails. So that's the reason why they are so dug in ultimately here on the filibuster. Is it because West Virginians really super care about keeping the Senate gridlock? No, of course not. It's because he wants to avoid all accountability. I think he's going to fight pretty hard to maintain that position.
I think that's right.
All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll have more Rising for you later today.